My father is refusing to walk me down the aisle. That's right, he wants to walk down my sister. To him, I'm nothing more than just a child he never wanted. It's always been my sister this, my sister that, and I just can't really deal with it anymore, so I'm telling them both. They're not allowed at my wedding, and I don't care if they want to cut me off after that. I'm not going to listen to them, and I'm going to tell you their exact response. Well, I'm 23, but when I was 2 years of age, my mom, she passed away while giving birth to my sister. When I was only 1.5 years old, she found out that my father was cheating on her with a neighbor. She was pregnant with my sister then, causing the rest of her pregnancy to be nothing more than stressful, and could not bear the pain during the time of delivery. After the tragic accident, my father became more wild. He would go out with different women every other day, and he used to come home heavily drunk and order me around for every single task. So I basically had to babysit my sister when I was still a baby myself. Well, I thought my sister would be my best friend, but as she grew a bit more, she turned out to be a copy of my dad. So eventually she became his favorite child, and I was the one that was completely neglected. He would give me orders so that his younger daughter could live a good life, and tried my best to follow the orders that he set to give me, just to get his attention. If I ever tried to reason my failure to fulfill my orders, he would tell me that he would not talk to me unless I acted like a good kid. Okay, an example. Once I had an exam the next day, but my sister decided to hold a party at our house. She ordered me to arrange everything, but I couldn't. She complained to Dad, and he forcefully made me skip the exam and made me arrange the party the next day. He would make excuse after excuse not to take me to the ice cream parlor or really do any activities. There was a time when I graduated middle school, and he promised that he and I would go fishing. Well, he ghosted me, guys. Giving excuses, I was again abandoned. I had no other than them. He prohibited my mother's side of relatives from visiting the house, and his side of the family was as bad as he was. I don't want to sound completely ungrateful. Yeah, like he did sometimes. He did buy me some more substantial things at least, like clothing, but it always came with the catch of some sort of job like cleaning and washing his car. This was never the case for my younger sister. This all started when I was about, 4 years of age. As I grew older, I was working for both my dad and his daughter, and there was a time when I had to have leftovers as my dinner, because my dad's favorite child liked the dish too much to consider giving me even a bite. My dad would just suggest me to adjust, and both of them never failed to remind me that I should be the one taking Mom's place in terms of taking care of his house and them. My mom was the breadwinner of the family, and as my dad had to go to work after her death, he used to get angry at me for absolutely no reasoning. I didn't know that he was a cheater back then. I just thought that he was sad because of Mom, and it's my responsibility to make him happy. Come on, not to brag, I was good at studies and always used to get good grades. On the other hand, my sister never passed the standard in one attempt. She was busy with different men every other day. Just like Dad. When I was about to graduate, my teacher suggested that I should enroll in a college that was perfect for my good grades. But it was a bit far from home. See, my house environment was not that healthy, so I wanted to move out. Of course my father did not take it well saying these things. Who would take care of them? I should stay here and help my sister pass the exams, yada yada yada. I'm being ungrateful and so on, but I was adamant about it, and so I told my teacher, so he could at least make him understand, and well, they did. My dad eventually agreed upon it, but one day, just before my final move, he just declared that he would not give a single penny to my college fund, and he would be saving it for my sister so she could get into the best college. He'll only provide for a few months' expenses until I find a job in that new city. It was not surprising to me. Thankfully, I was going there with a scholarship. After moving, life was better. I made friends, got into a relationship, and was great at studying. My dad and sister called me occasionally, but every conversation with them always ended up with them nagging about me being careless and leaving them behind. Selfishly, of course, and I decided to see them less and less, and he always put that down to me being an adult and wanting to spend time with my friends. However, after a few years, I landed a job on a big farm as a financial consultant. I told them the news, and my dad did not show any interest, not even a single, congratulations. On the other hand, my sister was jealous because she was still waiting for her graduation. When she graduated finally, she did not even invite me, saying that I would take her thunder away from my big fancy job, and my dad supported her. Anyways, after about a month, my dad called me again, saying that he could not continue with his job anymore. He said he was sick, and as his daughter, I should not let him work in this situation. As I got a job, I was the breadwinner of the family, like my mother was, and I asked him why I can't, my stepsister help with some money. He gets angry at this and said that my sister was special and still a child. She's 1 year younger than me, come on, who grew up without the love of a mother. How can I even demand her to give me money? And my boyfriend had recently proposed to me and I needed my father to walk me down the aisle. So I didn't want to argue with them and just agreed, and on one condition that my sister would have to give her fair share of money once she got a job or something. After I started sending money, he was good with me, comparing to before, and so I finally decided to introduce my fiance and invite them to my wedding. One day, we took a day to get off and went to my father's house over dinner to deliver the news. Everything was going all right, and my dad was happy that he would walk me down the aisle. My sister was also chatting with my fiance, being friendly and all. Those were not normal for them, but I was happy anywho. My sister never had any interest in my personal life, but she was asking me about the wedding, and I was giving her all the info. She asked who would be the maid of honor, and I said one of my friends. That's it. That was her breaking point of all the acts that she's been doing for the whole evening. Well, she started crying and saying to her father, "Daddy, she's being mean again." And Dad was looking at me furiously for making his little daughter cry. She said, how could I do this to her? What would the people say if they found out my sister was at my wedding only as a guest? I tried to reason, saying she didn't even know me. How could she be my maid of honor? The argument went on and on for the rest of the evening, and in the end, I left their place by saying I would need some time to think about it. Right? My fiancé said they were probably from now on trying to be nice to me, and if I want them in my life, then probably I should give them a chance. Well, you know what? He was right. I only had them as my family, and it would be better to have them beside me at my wedding. So I called my father and told him that she could be the maid of honor. I also called up my friend, who was supposed to be the maid of honor, and explained the entire situation, and you know what? At the end of the day, she was okay with it and assured me that she would always be there for me no matter what. But I think my sister's jealousy was beyond anyone's imagination. 'Cause when we got invited for dinner after a few days, she brought a guy with her and announced that she would get married too. Well, my father was beyond happy. The whole evening, she was just showing off her ring, and my dad was getting a gag over it. It's like me and my fiancé is not even there. However, I only got attention when both my fiancé and her fiancé left, and I was the only one there with them. Like old times, it was suffocating. My father blurted out of nowhere, "So, how much do you want to spend on her wedding? I don't have the money, and your little sister took the college fund I saved for her to buy a boat. Ugh." Hold on, why would I pay her wedding? I said I'm already paying for my own wedding, and I couldn't just do that for her. I told her sharp and clear, I'm sorry. If you can't afford to make a big wedding, just get married inside of a courthouse. Well, there comes the water. She's crying again, saying how can I think about a low-budget wedding for her while I'm having some lavish wedding? Their argument turned into pleading, and my sister was holding my wrist saying, "Please, sister, I've always wanted the best for you. Don't you want the same for me?" No, I reluctantly agreed, because I've never imagined that I would get soft behavior from them, and to be honest, my job pays great. So technically, I can't afford another wedding. And on the other hand, my fiancé has invested a lot in our wedding too, so everything was fine for a few days. My dad and sister used to call me more frequently for marriage-related issues, and one day, on the day of my wedding dress selection, both my father and sister joined me. I was happy that I found a dress that matched my personality really well. After the purchase, we were having dinner at a restaurant, and my dad just casually blurted out that as my sister was getting married soon, so he would not walk me down the aisle on my wedding day, because my sister said that it would make her wedding boring and similar, and my dad wants to make my little sister's wedding special. That's it. It's my turn to break down now. I've been doing so many things for them for years, and I thought that they changed, but oh boy, I was wrong. They're still an egoistic, narcissistic, selfish group of people, who should never get help from anyone. I didn't want them to be involved in any of my matters. I wanted to cut them off from my life as soon as they said that, and I got up from my seat and I left. The next day, I called them and told them that they were not included in my wedding anymore. That she would not be my maid of honor anymore, and that I would not even pay a single penny for her wedding as a matter of fact, and that I would not pay for anything to them anymore. So she had to cancel her wedding. I've given up on building a relationship with my dad. He makes me feel like I'm their slave and living my whole life just to wiggle my tail after them and serve them. I used to try so hard to see if he would say he was proud of me. But out of all of them, were only reserved for my sister. So was I wrong for what I did? To them, I know they're my dad and sister, but I just don't feel like they are. Right now, I feel like a fool for wanting affection from them. And I should have taken the action way before, I think. Anyways, I'll update if anything else happens. What's up, everybody? Mr. Reddito here. So we do have 2 comments to check out from the original post. And boy, oh boy, are these interesting comments, guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below about that first update. Before we jump into the first update, though, here is a comment. Comment number 1. I'm honestly surprised that you still carried on with your daughter's duties after so many things that you've done. They don't deserve anything, and I think they only think about themselves and don't even care about their surroundings. They only noticed you as a human only after you gave them money. Psychopathic tendencies, I'd say. Now that you have finally cleared yourself out from them, I would suggest you live your life to the full happiness. Don't let them ruin you. Also, tell everything to your fiance. He seems like an easygoing person and gets easily convinced. They were acting good in front of you and him so that they could just convince you to make your sister the maid of honor, and he thought that they were trying to be nice for real. His innocence is cute, ugh. But tell him, and also, if you want, you can tell your in-laws as well, and I don't know how they are, but it's good to let everyone know so they don't fall for the lies later on. Comment 2 says, I don't know about you, but cutting someone's ties just suddenly is cruel. Your father has not earned for years now. How is he going to manage? At least give them some money to pass by some days, but you instead just straight up abandoned them completely in a matter of a blink of an eye. He was still your parent after the death of your mother, and he could have thrown you out, but he was still there, right? Also, don't blame him for preferring your sister over you. He should indeed be giving you some attention, but I think that he probably sees the spirit of his wife in your sister, which is why he has reserved more love for her than you. Also, don't turn from your sister totally. She grew up with a father like her, and of course without a mother. She has been seeing that she's getting things just by ordering you, which is why she thought this way. And your father's support made it oh so much worse. Update number 1. Sorry guys, I did not get the time to respond to your comments, but I did read them in my spare time. And I'm currently at the airport waiting for our plane to our honeymoon, so I thought I should give you guys an update. Well, I got married 2 days ago, and many things happened after I cut all my ties with my dad and sister. I can say that I'm relieved to know people don't think I'm doing a bad thing. Even though it was few, some people thought it was harsh to cut all ties with them all of a sudden. Let me tell you one thing, it's not sudden. They've been doing it for years, literally my whole life, and I got the courage after years, and I think I should have done it way before. So, my entire whole life, I got the courage after years, and, well, whole life I was taken granted for, and guilt-tripped me by saying that I have to be the breadwinner of the family and take my mom's place to take care of my sister, you know? Well, I thought serving my sister was the only gateway to getting something from my father. Which obviously I deserved, right? I mean, believe it or not, I'm really happy, and now at least they'll know how I felt when they left me with almost nothing when I had to go away to college. It was me who made my own future, and I should be the one to deserve to get what's best for me, not them. By the way, some of you guys gave me suggestions which were really helpful. I really appreciate it, and as you guys suggested, I told everything to my in-laws and fiance. They listened to me patiently, and I broke down in front of them, because I thought my father would walk me down the aisle. Well, my father-in-law hugged me and said that he was my father now and he would walk me down the aisles. The gesture, it made me sob even more. I mean, come on. My mother-in-law also hugged me and told me not to worry a thing, that there would be no one who would attend my wedding from my side of the family. She said that they're my family now and we will enjoy it without any toxicity around us. Well, my father and sister, on the other hand, got furious, as they knew at the end of the month they had to leave the house and they didn't have a place to go. They tried to contact me at my house, but my fiancé turned them down every single time. Out of desperation, they showed up at my office trying to create a scene to belittle me. Well, security threw them out before it got, carried away too far. Then, at last, they invaded my wedding. She came wearing a wedding dress just to create a scene, and when I was about to read my vows, they screamed, "Objection! Objection!" and started giving a lecture about how bad and irresponsible I am. They thought if they make me look bad at my wedding, it might stop, but little did they know that my in-laws knew about them very well. When they did not get any reaction from the guests, they came to me and started raining slaps, saying this is what I deserve for not serving them, and my fiancé had had enough. He held my father's hand from behind, making him unable to move. My sister, on the other hand, forcefully tried to bring her fiancé so she could get married, right there instead of me. Well, when she failed to do that as well, out of anger, she pulled out a chair from the hall, and guys, she threw it at the cake. Someone, after seeing the scene, had already called the police, and they took them into the station. And so, my wedding, it went pretty smooth after that, I'd have to say, and one of my fiancé's uncles is a wedding planner, and he informed me, luckily, in one of his venues. The wedding got canceled at the last minute, and he offered to finish our wedding there. I mean, come on, it was such a beautiful beach wedding, even better than what we planned. Everything went smoothly, and I was happy that I was surrounded by people who actually seemed to care about me. Now I'm going on our honeymoon. It's in Hawaii, and my sister and dad are still in jail. But their crime won't keep them there for long, which is why it's pretty concerning. What's up, guys? That's the end of Update 1. Update 2 is coming at you. However, I think it's honestly understandable that OP cuts ties with her toxic family after enduring years of neglect and mistreatment. What do you think? Her decision to share her experiences with her in-laws and seek their support shows courage and strength, in my opinion. And it's good that at least now she's surrounded by people who truly care about her. Yeah, there might be challenges, but OP's wedding went smooth, and she's now enjoying her honeymoon. I mean, I hope this does mark a positive step. Anyways, let's see what's going on with the toxic father and sister in update number 2. I knew things would go bad after my father and sister came out of jail, because they'll have no place to go and no money to live anywhere, and that's exactly what happened. So, after a few months, when they got released from prison, they showed up at my sister's fiancé's house first. But they got rejected from there, and after the scene that they created in my wedding, her fiancé also cut all ties with her. So they showed up at my house instead, and the house cleaner let them in when they said that they were ascended to me. She didn't know that they were not allowed there, and I was outside at the time. When I got back, they already made themselves pretty comfortable right there in my own home. They started loitering around, choosing which room that they would pick for themselves, and, oh man. When I came back, they acted like nothing happened before, so I asked them, what the heck are they doing inside of my house?
and ordered them to leave immediately. I even texted my husband in the meantime to come home literally as soon as possible, because I knew I would not be able to handle them alone. Well, my father, he said, because of me, they got into jail and they have no place to live, so it's obviously my responsibility as a good daughter to take care of him and my little sister. My sister, again, guys, started just acting all goody-goody and said, please, oh please let them stay. Well, my father again and again reminded me that I was his daughter. I snapped at it. I told him to give me one good reason as why I should give them even the slightest little bit of my attention. Even, I'm talking the littlest slice. When he had never been a dad in my entire life. He never cared enough to make sure that I was living and doing good, and it was always my sister this, my sister that. I also told him that I knew from my mother's journal that he was cheating at work with Mom and decided to betray her and our family. Well, despite all of that, I still wanted to be loved by him, but every time he left me and abandoned me, or just used me so that his favorite little daughter could live a happy life, I was just a slave. I also told him that the affection I was craving from him, I received from my father-in-law, that I don't even need him anymore if I'm being completely honest with you guys. I doubt that he even knows anything about me, and he's just some guy who used to make my life miserable and with whom I just so happen to share DNA with. He has no idea how many academic achievements I've received, because he was never a part of it. All of it was preserved for my sister, who cannot even go into college, and he never cared or even tried to be there for me, and he has the absolute audacity to call me his daughter, since he didn't even do his fatherly duties. I don't think I should do any daughter duties towards him. So anyways, a few minutes seem to tick by, and then he calls me and asks if this is what I've thought about him my entire life. Oh boy. Well, I asked him where he was when I was graduating. He didn't even congratulate me when I got a job, and he only called me to say that he needed a bit of money. He only came to me when he needs money or some sort of work needs to be done. He went absolutely silent at that, and he asked me if I was still mad about the past. I told him that the past was the reason I knew he was a bad man. All these years, if he has taught me anything, it's that he's a crappy father, and someone like him cannot be trusted. I made the biggest mistake of my life, believing that he would come through, and I helped him with money and whatever that they needed, but not anymore. I mean, at that point, my fiance, he just came out and stood beside me. I told my father that he had saved up money for his younger child's college, and, well, she never made it to college, so use the money till he finds some work, and don't even bother coming here, because I will not be bothered by any kind of act that they'll put in front of me. My sister was so furious and cursed at me for ruining her life. I told them if they did not leave, I will call the police on them, and at that, they finally left. I do hope that this is my last update, because I don't want to deal with them anymore. I've spent years on that and failed. Now I'm just looking forward to living my life with my family. Update number 3. Oh boy, hey, guys, this is going to be, well, kind of a small update. But first of all, I want to thank every single person for all, and I mean all of the lovely messages and of course the encouraging words. Things remain great and horrible at the same time, if that's even possible, but I'm trying to remain positive, as this goes. Well, as me and my sister were only 2 years apart from each other, we had 1 or 2 mutual friends from school, and one of them worked with me at my office. I used to get my sister's whereabouts from her, even if I never wanted to. I heard they were living in the boat that my sister bought with the money that was supposed to be for her college. Yeah, it was a very, very small boat. And, not comfortable at all, I assume. So my dad wanted to sell it, but my sister opposed it. Nowadays, they only argue with each other, and my dad's trying to find a job, but it's getting hard for him because of the criminal record that he has. Previously, he used to work in an event management company, and his criminal records were prominently mentioned that he ruined an event. My sister, on the other hand, doesn't even bother to find that's something to earn money with. She now does the same orders and demands that my father does. If my father tried to convince her to find some work, she would snap at him, saying that the boat was hers and she would just kick him out. If he might deserve it. It didn't get any calls from my father either, but my sister was angry at me and tried to just bother me in any way that she possibly could. I got a restraining order from them, and so she won't be able to bother me physically, so she opted for bothering me through a call and online. She used to call me with various numbers, and when I blocked her on every single number, she turned all of my dad's side of the family against me with these countless, utterless lies, making my father a victim and me a monster. They constantly tried to bother me with calls and, of course, via social media. They even got grandma that I never knew existed appeared out of nowhere and shamed me for being such a horrible child. It was getting attention from the general public as well, so I shared this story with them, and my husband's family, they backed up every single word that I had. Now they don't really bother me anymore. I'll wait for a few more months and let you guys know if I get rid of them, and I truly hope that this will be my final update, and I hope it'll also be a positive one. Update number 4. Hey guys, it's been a long time, and I'm here with an update, and thankfully it's final. I'm not sure how many of you guys recalled my last post, and first and foremost, let me tell you the good news: I'm pregnant. I'm extremely hyped about my pregnancy, and my mother-in-law and father-in-law have been really happy. They offered to stay with us for the pregnancy to help me with everything, as I was not aware of anything. I'm so happy to have them in my life, and my husband is also supportive and made sure no harm caught me. From my husband, I came to know my dad wants to contact me. I don't know what excuse that he has now, but he never gave me my new number. I guess he heard about my pregnancy and wanted to contact me, and I haven't heard from him but heard from my coworker that he's been devastated since I didn't let him into my home. He tried to contact her as well, but she also didn't give out my info. I've also heard my sister throw him out of the boat that they used to live in when she found a fling for her. Now my father's doing a small job and living in a small shared apartment, and he's been pinning over the fact that he would not get to see the first grandchild that he's ever had. You can say that he's very, very upset about that and cries all the time whenever he sees a coworker of mine or even my husband in public. So many of you might think that I'm being harsh at this point, right? Well, I strongly believe this is every single thing that he deserved. I strongly believe that. He had put the foundation of it since I was young, and imagine how he accepted one of his children, on the other hand, made another one to be a slave. I mean, come on. I'm in a happy place now, guys, and I won't be bothered by any negative forces. So that's it. What's up, everybody? We're gonna hop into some comments before we head over to Redditocam. Comment number 1 says, "Congratulations on your pregnancy. Your life is turning into the right direction, and I'm just happy for it, and I've been following your story for what? Almost a year now, and I do feel connected with it. Your dad got the best clap back. He deserved it, and he never thought of you as his child. How can he be cheating with someone when his wife just gave birth to a beautiful girl? He took your mother absolutely for granted. After your mother, well, he took you for granted. Back then, you were naive because of all the people in your life. They were horrible. Thankfully, you met a wonderful husband and his family seems to accept you. And don't feel sorry for your father's current state or situation. If he's trying to contact you, I'm telling you right now, there's 100% possibility that he's doing that for his own selfish reasonings. Once you accept him, he'll resume his old tactics. Don't fall for it. However, he's living right now. He brought this upon himself. Remember that. None of this happened because of you." Comment number 2, and the final comment of the story. Let me know what you think about this one. "I have been following your story for a while now, and I think your father has changed. He doesn't talk about money anymore. All he wants is his loving daughter and his grandbabies. I mean, come on. I get it that what he did in the past is absolutely unacceptable, right? But it'll still be better if you give him a chance. If you don't, he'll be more bitter to other people. He's probably absolutely heartbroken right now. We can agree on that, right? As his younger daughter, whom he loved, absolutely just straight up disowned him and failed to acknowledge his doneness. If you want to get love from your father, this is the moment where you can get your chance. Now, it's up to you. You won't be wrong no matter what decision you take. Best of luck in your future.
Well, guys, a lot of the commenters were feeling bad for OP's father, saying OP should have probably helped out her dad even more when he obviously needed help at the end of the story. But guys, there were so many other comments. I'd say maybe 70% of the comments were completely in OP's favor, saying you did everything you had to do. You cut off the toxicity. It was very clear when they showed up at your wedding that they had ill intentions, and what you did, OP, was not wrong. It's okay. And the commenters that say otherwise, maybe that they've been through something similar and it's bothering them. I don't know, but guys, I do want to know your thoughts and your opinions on today's stories. My name's Mr. Reddito, and I narrate stories every single day. If you guys want to be a part of these stories, consider subscribing to the channel. Have a great day, I'll see you tomorrow, and of course remember, it's cool to be kind.